$7.25 an hour. The federal minimum wage unchanged since 2009, but many cities and counties have passed their own increases, which seem to be on a roll until now. Momentum has stalled in some surprising places. WSJ reporter Eric Morath joins us from Washington. Hi, Eric. So what just happened in Baltimore, of all places?
Sure. We saw Baltimore and nearby Montgomery County, Maryland this year reject moves to go to a $15 an hour minimum wage. And 15 has been sort of the new goal mark. New York and California statewide will eventually reach that level, and other cities like Seattle have gone that far. Maryland, pretty liberal place, two municipalities that are controlled by Democrats, and both those leaders vetoed a $15 minimum wage, saying they were fearful that it would cost their city and county jobs.
All right, so let's look at the case of Baltimore's mayor. She ran on a platform of increasing minimum wages. So how did she explain her veto to those angry supporters? I mean, one union, Local 500, called it a clear-cut betrayal. What did she say made her change her mind?
So she said she changed her mind after speaking to businesses. Some very large employers in the city, including Johns Hopkins Hospital System, said they were uncomfortable with the wages going that high, that it would affect what they have to pay for labor. And we saw even smaller businesses, including a candle maker who looks to employ people with kind of troubled pasts, said, hey, he can't compete with companies in Vietnam and China if he has to pay $15 an hour for craft making. So she said those stories kind of gave her pause, and she didn't want to see the unemployment rate in Baltimore rise higher because of rising minimum wages. It's already quite elevated in Baltimore compared to the rest of the state of Maryland.
All right, let's break apart the argument. The argument for increases is this: the only way to ensure low-wage workers live above the poverty line. The argument against is that it discourages hiring, as you just said, and encourages employers to invest in automation or exporting jobs overseas. So is there increasing evidence that lawmakers in other states, even other Democrats, are going in this direction?
Well, there's a lot of evidence on both sides of this issue. I think, it does show that we found a few examples in here, and also Cook County, Illinois, a place where Democrats have a stronghold. We've seen some of the towns there reject higher minimum wages. So they're listening maybe a little more carefully to the business argument. A lot of economists say there's not a lot of evidence that minimum wage directly costs jobs, but there's also very little study of minimum wages as high as $15 an hour. We're talking double the federal rate. We've just not had that experience in this country. So a little bit we're in uncharted territories, and places like Baltimore will compare themselves to places like Seattle to see, what happens with jobs.
Well, Eric Morath, thank you so much for all that.
Sure, no problem.